The actual definition of feminism, right? They talk about equality, but it's more about equity.
Is a man and a woman are the same. Everything equal in everything.
I'm not saying a girl can't do what a man can do, but not every girl should do what a man can do.
There is a heavy emphasis on the upbringing of the children, but at the same time, can she not work?
So a girl going to university, studying a course of, I don't know.
Textiles.
Yeah, or artist or something like this. That's seeking knowledge. That's not seeking knowledge.
Islam and feminism cannot coexist. Agree or disagree? Islam and feminism, they can't exist together. Agree on this side, disagree on the other side.
Do I do it?
Yeah, go on.
Go ahead.
Let's go. Islam and feminism cannot coexist. Bismillah.
Okay, but maybe it's a sub-context. It's a sub-context. In Islam, there's 1,000 derivatives. Why would you have humanity? We have Islam. Islam helps you define humanity. But Islam will help you define feminism. The question is, my question to you, what do you define as feminism? Are you talking about modern day feminism or the original concept of feminism?
Look, feminism is a man and a woman are the same. That's feminism.
No, but that's modern day feminism. Or if not modern day feminism,
we can only speak on what feminism is now.
Yeah,
we can't speak on the past. We can speak on now.
With the actual definition of feminism, right? They talk about equality, but it's more about equity. You have to look about how a woman equates to a man, and a man equates to a woman.
I think you're changing the definition of feminism.
Yeah, but it depends. Where did Islam come from? Islam's from how many years ago? We should talk about from then, not from now.
Look,
if you want to talk about now, then 1,000 things have changed.
Look,
then you can say Islam and any other topic doesn't go hand in hand today. But when the Islam originally came out, and you want to discuss the teachings of the Ahlul Bayt and what they went through, we can compare it to that.
So you're saying your definition of feminism is equity.
That's what it should be. Yes.
But that's not feminism. That's what you want to look at it as. Feminism is a man and a woman are the same. Everything equal in everything. There's no differences. And we all know that's not the case.
No, but that's this day and age.
That's what the discussion is about.
I think the discussion is about modern
When we
day.
speak about feminism, I can't think about 1,400 years ago. I can only think about now.
You have to apply to the context of the situation.
And now the people behind feminism and those pushing this agenda onto Khatiya, our innocent women out there, our sisters, they're telling them that whatever your dad can do, whatever your uncle can do, whatever your granddad can do, whatever your brother can do, whatever your nephew can do, you can do yourself. No one's saying you can't, but there are, I think, specific gender roles, there are specific things that a man is better at doing. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying a girl can't do what a man can do, but not every girl should do what a man can do.
Everyone has to play towards their strengths and their weaknesses.
No, I agree with that, but again, you're looking at modern day feminism, or as I call it, Nazi feminism, right? Where women thinks they're better than men, or they can be the same as men, and anything a woman can do, anything a man can do, a woman can do better.
Feminism.
I don't agree with that.
Feminism is toxic masculinity.
Agree.
There's nothing different with it.
I agree, but that's today.
Because men.
So what's feminism back then?
If you look, let's not go too far. Look at the suffragettes movement, right? Women wanted a voice. Islam agrees with women having a voice. Do they not?
Do you think that was a positive movement?
Well, the suffragette.
I don't think that was a positive movement.
Because
look where it's led to now.
I know, but the thing is how the West portrayed it here.
Yeah.
And if you look at feminism back in the time of you know the Ahlul Bayt, right? Women spoke up against oppression. They said,
Yeah, but that's not feminism.
why? Okay, again, you're talking about today's feminism.
Yeah, so what is feminism back then?
I've never heard of feminism before, for example, 60 years ago. I don't know.
No,
if it
forget about
existed.
forget about suffragettes. What was feminine during the time of the imams? There's many generals. If we look at, we focused on societal views. When we go to Islamic's views, there's gender roles, as mentioned. The women have to do certain things and the men have to do certain things. So why is it that feminism has to come in and say, no, they're equal, they can both do the same thing?
No, okay, again, it's not necessarily about them doing the same thing. I'm not arguing saying whatever a man can do, a woman can do. Well, technically, there's a possibility, but they shouldn't. I agree with gender roles. I agree a man has a certain, way of doing things. For example, if you look at construction, mostly men are the laborers that physically put in the bricks. We wouldn't put a woman through that. I agree with that. But if you look at, for example, at the time of the martyrdom of the Prophet, and look at Fadak, right? if you look at feminism and women speaking up and having, as by the definition, right, advocating for women's rights, why was, in addition to the other oppression, I'm talking about base sexism here, because the lady Fatima alayhi salam was a woman, she was rejected the right. And so Islam does promote women having a voice. It does promote women having a say. I'm not talking about equal rights here. That's a different discussion. Whether you want to talk about modern day feminism or any feminism, I'm not talking about equal rights per se. But if you look at the basis of Islam and how we promote to protect women and advocate for women's rights, what was there?
Are you referring to the land of Fedek, for
Yes.
example, and the inheritance,
Yes.
for example? Okay, respectfully, let's put Lady Fatima Zahra alayhi salam just to one side and let's just focus on inheritance.
Okay.
Islamically, there's a difference between what a lady inherits and what a man inherits.
Yeah, but if you look into it, it's a man will inherit based off the fact if he's a provider. If the man is not,
Because Lady Fatima Zahra alayhi salam coming out to speak, that's her right. That's her haqq.
yes,
صح? She can stand up and speak for it. But what other scenario should the lady come out and speak for?
no, okay, you want to talk about when a lady should come up and speak, for example, there are so many things going on now, especially today and age, or when feminism first started uprising, where women didn't have a voice. Women's rights were neglected. If you look at the medical care women were receiving, now 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 50 years ago, they were neglected. There's so many women's health issues that is ignored.
But where is this focused on? Which society is this is more focused on the Western society? In the Eastern society or Middle Eastern countries, Islam is the majority. It's the problem. There's no feminism there in modern day feminism there.
Yeah, but if you look at
describing,
yeah, but
so
if,
they all lived in a way where they followed Islam's view of how the gender roles and equality. So
not necessarily. I can name you several Islamic countries they are Islamic countries, but the way they treat their women is not the same as they should have treated them.
Yeah, but the way they treat the woman, what's it got to do with feminism?
Okay, feminism is advocating for women's rights.
Look, feminism is a very dangerous road because you're taking on an ideology that's not Islam.
That's toxic masculinity.
No. It's feminism because you're taking on an ideology that's saying we are equal. We've seen crazy things happen. The world has changed it's become so liberal in that sense. And feminism is like, you can't disagree with it, right? Look, there's certain places where you've seen women and men praying together in unison. Like not men in the
but
front.
that's not feminism.
But this is feminism women being the same as a man. So you're taking on ideology that's
stems
telling
from
you,
It's
ignore
the
everything.
consequence of
Advocating for
feminism.
women's rights, right? As by the definition, feminism is when you advocate for women's rights for them to get the same. For example,
but what do you think
look
your
at
right
healthcare.
is?
I'll give you healthcare.
Rights is what's given to you by Islam, not what you think your right is.
No, but
my right is to pray in
okay.
the front of Salah. No, but you're a woman.
No, okay, but if you look at healthcare, right? A woman should be treated in healthcare the same as a man, in the sense that the same level of care provided to a man should be provided to a woman. But women are being neglected, right, in certain healthcares. If you look,
social justices and things like this, I don't think any of us here disagree with.
no, but Islam, you're telling me Islam doesn't promote women being treated the same as a man. And for example, whether it's medical, whether it's, depending on certain situations, they do get treated, they should get treated the same.
but Islam promotes that.
But Islam promotes men and women to get treated the same in terms of healthcare.
Exactly, but isn't that what feminism is?
Yeah, so ignore
wants
feminism.
Equality in gender roles.
Again, you're looking at today, we just said today's society, I'm not talking about today's society.
But even back, let's say even go 100 years ago, the suffragettes that you mentioned, they wanted the same thing. The women wanted to go out and work. They wanted to wear what the men wear.
The original point of suffragettes was a woman having a right to vote.
Yeah.
A woman having a say, their voice actually matters, and not ignored. That suffragette movement, yes, there were a couple people like, I want to go work, I'm tough as a man. There were some people with that mentality, but if you look at what they were actually trying to receive was better healthcare for women, and their opinions being listened to and not ignored, right? It's not necessarily about, I need to vote, because back then women couldn't own property. Women couldn't do a lot of things.
If you think a woman deserves less right than a man.
Okay.
When it comes to feminism, I think the main issue with feminism is that they're trying to be men when they're not men.
Okay, but again, so they're changing the name of feminism and the definition of what it stands for. Look,
God forbid you have a daughter in the future.
Yeah.
God forbid, yeah? And she's in the road, and if they take this feminism mentality, what are they going to send? Her aunties and her sisters to protect her if something's going wrong down the line.
That goes
They're going to send her brothers, her uncles, and the men
understand.
from the family.
But that goes all back to my point of modern day feminism.
Islam gives more rights to men. Agree or disagree? Agree on this side, disagree on that side. Disagree on that side. So Islam gives more rights to men. Discuss.
You believe Islam gives rights to men over women?
If you look at I'm bringing up the context of marriage, right? A man can state where if he wants to get a divorce from a woman, he can no longer allow her to get remarried. A man has that power where if for example, you want to divorce your wife and you're like, you know what, with this divorce, one of my conditions I'm going to say in divorcing you is you can't get remarried. That's one power a man has over a woman.
Yeah,
What's
I've never heard of that ever.
I've seen women nowadays stipulate in the nikah contract where if they, for example, they say I want the right to divorce if this happens, or I have a right to speak out. Loads of women are speaking up for that in defense of certain issues such as violence or domestic issues, and I've seen some of them even after getting divorced they said I can't get remarried because it was a condition, and they had to get a alim and a sheikh or representative of Maraja to come whitelist that.
So
The conditions of marriage is when you're in that marriage.
on this
Yeah, but
note,
it doesn't
sorry
work
guys,
like that.
on this note, we will confirm with the scholar, the fiqh. But let's get back to the topic of, does Islam give more rights to men?
You can look at examples of
Islam gives more rights to men. That's the statement. You agree? Explain.
whether it's having multiple wives, whether it's having certain powers in a relationship. If I tell my wife don't do this, she can't do it because that's the strength I have.
Why is having multiple wives an extra right? Like something
No,
that's
But
preferable.
we're not talking
It's
about
a headache.
But we're not talking
sure.
about the specifics of the rights. We're talking about the quantity of the rights.
I'm giving explanation now. We mentioned inheritance last time. A man is eligible for more inheritance than the woman.
Yeah, but so that's one right but that's one
Yeah, but that's
equal
what I'm
right.
saying. Men have more rights. I'm saying.
No, but is it more like more
but
gain
you
within
have
the
more-
rights?
Man has
No,
more
no.
significance in the right.
Is it more gain? That's not the question though. The question is more rights. Shukr al-aam. So
this-
for example,
this is not right.
the right to work, for example, the right of a woman to not go and fight at the battlefield, for example, that's like 1 point towards the woman. And then the right for a man to marry four wives is another point towards the man. Some of the quantities. If you put on a scale, all the rights a man has and all the rights a woman has, is it going to be 50-50 or is it going to be slanted? That's what the question is asking.
I don't think
it's not daqiq on the specifics.
I
sorry
don't
to cut
think
off.
Islam gives more rights to men. I think it gives men more responsibility. Yani if we want to talk about rights of inheritance with marriage and women and etc. Yani when it comes to the females, who has the burden of being financially responsible? Who is supposed to be the breadwinner? Who's the one that's supposed to come home and put food on the table, look after his lady, look after his children? It's all on the man.
Yeah.
The woman doesn't have to do nothing. Actually, she can sit at home and do nothing, and he can't even force her to go earn £1 to bring back to the home. That's her right. Tell me, what society does that? Islam gives the woman that.
And for a guy, if it's commonly understood the gender roles, woman looks and takes care of the responsibility inside the house, and the man outside the house. The woman can ask to be paid for her amal she does inside the house as well, for a guy. On top of her right to do things.
Yeah, the man has a lot more responsibility on his shoulders, not rights.
Yeah, but with that responsibility comes, in a sense, more power, which in a sense means more.
No,
rights.
with that added responsibility, I think comes a justified, if you want to see it as more rights to men, which I don't think is more rights to men. I think it's just linked with more responsibility to men, because الرجال قوامون على النساء. So men are automatically in nature we're protectors of women, for example. Islam didn't say women are protectors of men. I think we have to understand gender roles. We have to understand, why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made something compulsory towards man and not towards women. There's a role. The fact men can't give birth, although people nowadays think men can give birth. Men can't give birth. Why not? You don't think of it. You're not going to come and question
That's a
it.
beautiful right, by the way, bestowed upon the woman. That's a beautiful right, the right to give birth and the right to nurture and to look after the child. That's a beautiful right given to the woman.
Going back to the same,
That's-
it's their responsibility as well.
Yeah. So there's a responsibility. You don't see it as like a right. You can't come and say, okay, Islam gives men more rights or Islam gives women less rights. No, it gives them different
Well, we are
responsibilities.
looking at the rights and we're looking at the responsibility. Yes, with more responsibility, you get more rights, as you mentioned.
How explain that? How does
you
it more?
mentioned-
No,
mentioned
I'm
as-
saying
as-
if you're going to argue for that, you have to link it with the responsibility.
I agree.
aspect.
There is a link. Men do have more responsibility, and I do agree with you to some extent that you are correct. Yes, men, because they have more responsibility, because they carry a larger burden, they get more rights for that to protect those two. So in that essence, they still get more rights to protect, the burdens they have, the responsibilities they have. For example, with inheritance, a man is entitled to inherit more because he has more responsibility. So in that sense, he does have more rights because he gives him power to do what he's responsible for. He has power over the home because it's his responsibility to take care of the home. So he needs that power to maintain that responsibility. So that's why he gets those rights.
I don't think you should use the word power. I think you should use the word lead, authority. I think things like this sounds a bit better. Because when you say power, now women have no rights. When
Okay.
No, I'm saying doesn't the man have the responsibility, provide rights for the woman? Because the man has the responsibility of being the provider, the woman has now the right to mahr, for example. So it's a responsibility for the man, provides a right for the woman.
I agree. I'm not saying women don't have rights. They have their rights, and everyone has their rights to protect themselves, correct? So women have their rights to be protected. Men have their rights to protect them. Men will have their rights to protect their responsibilities, and women will have their rights to protect themselves and their responsibilities. It works both ways.
And someone here mentioned that it might be seen as a right that men can marry 4 wives, but there is also a right on the wife that she can stipulate in the marriage contract that you can't get married to anyone else whilst I'm married to you.
That's all right.
Although the man can do it, no, God's given that permission for the lady, for his wife to mention this to him, and stops him, prevents him from doing so.
In regards to that point, a woman has a right to divorce if a man pursues another woman and she disagrees with, but she cannot stop him getting remarried.
No, she can.
She can't.
She can.
No, she
Can to stop him from getting remarried?
No, having more than one wife at the same time.
So if
no man can tell a lady you can't get married after we divorce.
Yeah, I've never heard that.
but going back.
We'll have the scholars fact check this.
Yes, please. But going back, have the scholars fact check as well. A woman cannot. The first wife cannot stop the man from having multiple wives. What she can do is stipulate that if he does get married without my consent or permission, I'm allowed to initiate my divorce.
So that's a right for the woman.
Yeah, that's her right.
That's a right for the woman, but doesn't stop the man. The man has every right to get married.
No, he's breaking the contract.
Everyone has every right to do everything.
So if he decides to get married whilst he's married, that marriage is null because the original agreement between his first wife was that you can't get married to someone else. So just because you want to go married doesn't mean he gives him the right. No, he transgressed on the laws of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Not necessarily.
Of course.
Because the woman has a right to initiate divorce if her part of her contract is not respected. One of the things is I do not consent or give permission for my husband to get remarried. She can't stop him getting remarried because the man has the right to marry if he wants. If the woman now is displeased with that, she can say, I now want to initiate divorce, and that is her right. Yes, she has every right to leave.
So you've just proven the man has his right and the woman has a right. There's no way in where Islam has given a man more rights than women.
No, I never said women did not have rights, and they have
you're saying the man has more than women.
That's what I'm saying. By having, for example, right, a woman has a right to divorce, right? She has a right to, if you're going to go on the topic of multiple wives, a woman has a right to get divorced, right? If she doesn't like it. But the man has to agree to it. So if it's not stated on the contract, for whatever reason, a woman says, I want to get divorced, but the man says, no, I don't agree. The divorce isn't going to happen without intervention. So if a man wants to get divorced, and the woman hasn't made any stipulations in the nikah contract, unless she gets outside intervention from, like a father or a scholar, she technically cannot get divorced.
So you're saying she told her husband in the marriage contract that you can't get married to anyone else, and if you do, I will divorce you. Yeah. And now you're saying she wants to divorce him because you got married and she can't.
No, but I'm saying if she hasn't stipulated.
Of course, that's her fault.
That's
her dad's fault for not telling her. That's her granddad's fault for not telling the dad to tell his daughter.
That's exactly my point. If a woman doesn't stipulate anything pre-hand in her contract.
Because half the problems of divorces is that women have genuine, by the way, reasons and grounds for divorce. Yeah. Husbands can be abusive.
Agreed.
Husbands can be, wallah, they can destroy their lives, give them a life of misery. No one knows what happens behind closed doors. And we all know of stories and know of people that face the scenarios, but it's not their fault. You can't come and blame God that I can't get a divorce. Now the man has more right. No one told you your huquq to start with.
Agreed.
The Shaykh, the Mawlana who done your aqid never told you, never advised you. He just spoke to the man. And I think that's a big problem, maybe a discussion for another day, is that we always take the men's side when it comes to marriage.
I do agree with you 100%. And then it goes back to my point. If a woman doesn't stipulate anything in her contract, and she has the haq, she has her right to say, I want this. A woman can stipulate whatever she wants, and she has that power. But if she doesn't stipulate it, all the rights, everything goes to the man. If she doesn't stipulate in her contract, then technically she loses out because she hasn't stipulated her rights. Her rights is stipulated on paper.
Okay, apart from divorce, give me a different right. Give me a different right.
All right, we're done with that. All right, let's line up again. We've got one more statement, a couple more statements to go.
But I only sat here to even it out, man.
Muslim girls don't need to go to uni. Agree or disagree? Muslim girls, they don't really need to go to university.
This one's simple, yani. If you take long to decide, there's something wrong.
We just spoke about it in the previous one. They don't have the right to vote.
Wait, so this is saying Muslim women can go uni, they should go uni, yeah?
No, this is agree.
This, you agree with the statements that they don't need to go to university.
They don't need to go
Yeah,
to
they don't need to.
Well, you're saying
They should go.
They need
Yeah,
to
they
go
need
to
to go,
university.
yeah.
Now, hold on. Do you genuinely feel like this, or are you?
We had it, remember I
Yeah,
said,
I know. Okay.
Okay, Bismillah, go on.
You know this formation happens a lot.
Yeah.
This formation is happening best.
Muslim girls don't need to go to university, just like Muslim men don't need to go to university.
I think the need for education is important. I think everyone should be educated, whether they get the education at uni or somewhere else. I think being educated, men or women, right? Whether you want a career path or not, I think you should always study and always promote seeking knowledge.
Of course,
which was
but
Islamic promote.
Does it have to be mandatory to go to university and get that education?
But in this day and age, this day and age, no, because of internet, it's grown to, you can learn anything of anywhere. But if you look at where uni was the main source of education, yes, you should go uni. I think university is crucial to everything.
We're talking about this day and age
But
now,
does she
today.
need to go to uni?
I think
Is it a need for her as a woman to go to uni?
I think look,
The statement is need, huh? Don't get us in trouble.
living in the UK, university is practically free. Yes, there's student loans, but compared to around the world, it's practically free here. And
It's not free.
And
There's
it's
a
not-
big difference between.
I know,
that,
no,
come
but
on.
compared to what you actually get, student loans is one of the best loans you can ever get, right? Across all mortgages and every loan, student loan is the best loan. And if you can get that loan to pursue education, I think it's vital. You get given a gift to go pursue education. If you don't take it, it's a waste.
But so
you
we're
have
focusing on Muslim girls, yeah?
Option.
What if Muslim girls, okay, say for example, they don't want to, they want to pursue the lifestyle of what the Quran teaches, of them staying at home, looking after the husband, the kids, and all that. Do they need to go to university and then pursue that lifestyle, or what if they try to pursue
Quran
that
also
lifestyle?
promotes seeking knowledge and always
Seeking
educating
knowledge
yourself.
doesn't.
hold on,
it-
hold
if you
on.
go-
Seeking knowledge doesn't specifically say going to university and getting that knowledge.
Yeah, but an academic institute of a place of knowledge, you should go to go
Habibi,
seek knowledge.
So a girl going to university, studying a course of, I don't know,
Textiles.
yeah, or artist or something like this. That's seeking knowledge.
Textiles.
That's not seeking knowledge.
That's not the question, though.
That's studying something. That's not seeking
Yeah.
No,
knowledge.
okay, no, but when you go, look, okay, that's,
All that's doing is delaying her time, for example, to get married, or
who
to
says
do
you
something,
can't-
or study something useful.
yeah, but okay, I agree. Study something useful. I don't disagree. Go study textiles. Go study, go study any source of academia where it could be law, could be medicine, could be anything, where it has an academic purpose. Seeking knowledge is important, and pursuing that knowledge is vital to anyone's growth. And it says in the Quran to obviously pursue all knowledge.
I think seeking knowledge is very important. And I'm still on this side because university is nothing, it's no correlation between uni and knowledge, first of all. And second of all, if a young lady wants to do the Islamic thing, the sunnah of getting married early, for example, having a family, having children, she doesn't need the finances of going to university and getting a job, then that is much more preferable. And therefore, university is not a need.
If she wants, she can.
If she wants, she can. She wants to go to
We're
university.
talking about must.
The thing is, look, Hausa is a type of university, correct?
No,
Why not?
because they teach different things. One of them is Islamic knowledge. One of them is like
So university teaches a plethora of different things. What difference? A university is
So
an
what,
academic
a girl
institution.
needs to go housing.
No,
And how's an Islamic seminary? So all they teach there is fiqh and Islam and Quran, all of
yeah,
this.
but it's
This is
so my point is on an academic institute, right? University is an academic institute, so is Hausa. You go, you learn. You can learn about fiqh, Islam, or you can learn about medicine, law, anything, right? So pursuing, again, I'm focusing on the pursuing knowledge. I think everyone should go uni, right? Men or women. I think even if you replace uni with another academic institute, fine, replace it. But educating yourself to get yourself to a point where you're knowledgeable enough and stable enough for yourself to help yourself out. If you, for example, if you have a medical problem, you go see a doctor. If you have, a law problem, you go see a lawyer. If you have, issue where you need to educate yourself and study further and learn, you go to
So then
university
by your
to
logic,
learn.
what you're saying is you're going to university just for a qualification, because that same knowledge, for example, with a lawyer, or for example, anything to do with an engineer, that can be learned. You can go on the internet, read a book, something like that, and study, and you can get that sort of knowledge. You're going to university for that qualification, that piece of paper that says that you're qualified.
Anyone can read the book and interpret however they want, and they can go down any path. You need a guidance. You need someone to guide you to be like, look, university is filled with learners, people. They're lecturers, the professors, the doctors. They have got certain qualifications and criteria to assess other people to make sure, I can certify this person. For example, I'll look at medicine. To become a doctor, you need to go through studies. You need to go learn. You need to get verified by other doctors. Be like, okay, this person, I trust them enough to go practice medicine. And you can look at Islam the same, Hawza the same way. You need other ulama, other learned scholars to be like, I can verify this individual that they know their topic, they know what they've studied, and then they can now unleash onto the world and, preach other knowledge and so on and so forth. So you need that academic institute. You need that basis to go forward. Nowadays, it's all about the certificate, sure.
Not necessarily then. But you don't have to be in an institute to be able to get that guidance. We have, for example, when it comes to the younger generation, there's home learning. The teacher comes to them. That hasn't become now an academic institute. It's the teacher coming to guide them. So you don't have to go university.
Okay, but there's online universities. Again, university is not about, going to attend this building with this sign. You can attend university online. There is so many online diplomas you can get, but they call them universities. University is an academic institute.
So it's preferable for you to have a woman who goes to university, studies, right, spends her time 3 years doing this, rather than getting married young, for example, building a family, doing what she was supposed to do.
Why can't you do that simultaneously with studying?
No, but that's not going to happen.
Why not?
Come on, 2 people at uni, for example, or maybe...
I've seen it work.
I'm
not disagreeing with any of you.
It's very, very difficult, and at least...
No, but based on what premise?
Okay, but then you're delaying having a family.
Why not? While I was at university, half my classmates were mums. They had on-site nursery care.
Yeah, but that's probably after they have children. Then that's completely different.
No, but amongst my classmates, right? I was studying engineering, right? There was a mix.
So your classmates were pregnant and then
I'll tell you, there was a mix. My class, mashallah, was very, very diverse. There was people from all sorts of backgrounds, also from all sorts of countries. Some of them were moms, some of them were single, some of them were pregnant. It was very diverse, and I've seen across the whole of university, every different school of science or every different school of education will have its own select group of people who've gone through a trial of different things.
Then her focus is in the wrong place.
I need to wrap it up, please, guys.
Look, I think we should encourage women to study. We should encourage women, I think, to take a level of education, possibly even higher education.
If they want to,
it's a choice.
A lot of people might not be comfortable with it. A lot of universities you have to go there. Maybe they're not comfortable with that. They're not comfortable with the whole thing. They want to stay home. They want to build a family. That is preferable. And even if it's not, even if we're not saying that's preferable, she has the right to make her choice. Do you know what I mean? It's not a need for a woman to go to university.
I agree with women or anyone choosing what they want to do. There's no force in anything. You shouldn't be forced to anything. But you should always want to pursue, again, going back to the original point, pursue knowledge and further education, or just...
Knowledge of Islam is much better than knowledge of 3 years studying drama.
Interesting. Well, on that point...
all the drama students are going to hate you.
All right, guys, line up. One more time. Curveball, the switch. So please sit in either agree or disagree now.
I just don't want to leave me alone, man.
You either agree or disagree. I haven't given you the statement yet. I need it to be a 3-2 split, so please agree or disagree. Agree is on this side, and disagree is on that side. So we have 3 agreeers. This should be... switched it up. All right, so we have the agreeers on this side, and we have the disagreeers on this side. Your statement, guys, is... where is it? Switch, okay. Based on the previous statement, kind of, but your statement that you agree with is that women should be stay-at-home mums and don't work. You disagree with this. You disagree with that statement. You guys agree with that statement. The statement is women should be stay-at-home mums and don't work. Therefore, you guys are saying, no, they shouldn't be stay-at-home mums, they should go work, whereas you guys are saying, no, they should stay at home and they shouldn't work. Go ahead.
That's a catch-22 for either side.
No, I do think women should stay home.
Seriously.
Great point. Well done.
This is the exercise, guys. This is what it is. You got to put yourself
I
in
don't
the
think
mindset.
they should stay at home.
Yeah.
I think they can work it with their husband if they can go to work, or what works best for the family. I think from that aspect, if you have kids involved, how much can you go out? Or if you stay at home, I think it's a bit. If you're always home 24/7, it might be
No, but that's not
too much
statement.
volume.
No, but that's not statement.
Gives them some
Look,
air, some
be-
space.
Being a stay-at-home mom doesn't mean you're trapped in the house. It means you're focused.
No, I think
You're
there's a
full-time
difference
mom, is it
between
home?
stay-at-home mom and like a homemaker. Like, is it in this conversation? Is it the same or is it two
Stay-at-home
different
mom
things?
is someone who prioritizes, from my understanding, is prioritized being a mother and stays at home with the kids, essentially.
Oh,
right?
يعني the one who goes to work is not a good mother.
No, that's not what I'm saying. The question, the statement was.
No,
the
then
statement-
أكل ظروف as well. Sorry, there's a lot of different situations where someone might have to go to work. That's not a problem. However, we believe that the woman, her purpose is to nurture. She's the best. She's better than us. I'm not putting her down by saying this. The woman is better than the man. A woman is better than me at nurturing and showing compassion and love. I try, I do my best. The woman is going to be better at that.
But does that mean that
she's
she
the better
can't?
at bringing up the kids. So she should be. That's her role.
So she
It's
can't go
not
to
only
work as
her
well?
role.
But we're not
It's
saying
also-
It's not only her role, but like we said, the father
Sorry,
has a different role. The woman's role is to nurture, to be home, to take care of the kids. I don't want my kids raised by a babysitter, for example.
I'm not
But
just
she
that.
can
The
still
thing
do
is-
that and work
by
though.
me.
Yeah. Like, for example.
Who said she can't do that
But
because she's
but
working
then,
now?
when I stay at home, work from home. Okay, cool. But you're a stay-at-home mom.
The thing is, so.
He found a good solution. Work at home.
You're a stay-at-home mom. if you find a job where you're home, you're still.
No, but let's say she can't find a job that she likes. Let's stay at home.
Khalas, don't work.
So, but the thing is, for example, you can't send your children when they're young, like say 1 or 2 years old, to a nursery while you work, and then you come back in those, I don't know how many hours that you're working, for example, a part-time job for the mother. She comes and nurtures in that time. And a stay-at-home mom doesn't always have to be 24 hours with her children. They get tired.
No, look,
We're all
I-
human
I-
at the end of the day.
No, the children don't get tired of the mom, but I understand your point. There's obviously different situations. Like there's mothers that have to work, and Allah sa'idhum, that's a big responsibility, and they have to do that. That's not a problem. If you are able to stay at home and look after the kids, that is obviously much more preferable, because
that's if you're
that is
able.
what you were meant to do. That's
The question states that
that women should stay home.
women should stay home and not work.
We're assuming that they can. They don't have to go to work, right? They should be staying at home and look after kids.
Yeah, but you're not letting her fulfill her aspirations and dreams for her.
Exactly.
But
What
that
if she
shouldn't be
worked
her
through her
aspirations,
career?
though.
What if she grew
But
up
then she's been brainwashed.
loving...
But then she's been brainwashed.
I mean, what if
she
she's
thinks she has to have a
brainwashed?
career and go and be a CEO of a company?
Why
Why
we
doesn't-
have to make
why
her relevant to
doesn't
our
she
society
want
that we
that?
live in. If we live in Western society, she's going to obviously be brought with Western
Yeah, but
culture.
we should not be conforming. We should keep strong on our traditions and values, not let our daughters and our sisters and our women be brainwashed into thinking that they have to go and do this.
Well, what's
Yeah,
so
but
bad
this is
about
the-
that? What if
But here's the thing.
Because that's
right
not her
now,
responsibility.
right now in school, right now, as a kid, from the age of like 5 to 18, you're at school most of your life, right? You're at school more than most people are at work, and you're being, whether it's brainwashed, whether you're being nurtured by the education system, by the school system, by the government, by the country. You're not being educated or being brought up by your values at home. You're being brought up with the values of the society and the country. The country has stipulated now that you have to educate this, maybe goes against the values of Islam. But if you have a stay-at-home mom, she can promote that, she can nurture that into the children. So as they're growing up, they're learning certain behaviors. When you're a child, you're vulnerable. You're vulnerable and susceptible to the things around you. Having the mother at home, not only does she nurture the children and take care of them, but she can promote and instill values into these children, into her children, that when they go out into the world, they can further spread, promote, or even maintain that value.
every mother can do that.
But no one's saying
every
there's
good
going to.
mother.
No one's saying there's going to be a lack in that because she's working.
Yeah.
And you mentioned the education system. Imagine she looked up to her teacher throughout the years, and she wanted to become a teacher when she grew older. You're not going to allow her to
Hold
reach
on,
her
hold
dreams
on.
and aspirations.
When I'm choosing a wife, I'm not looking at women that I'm just going to have a great time with. I'm looking at women that's going to raise my kids, right? That's the number one focus. This woman going to be a good woman to raise the children that I
So is
want.
that all you're going to see?
Yeah,
her?
No,
So that's-
obviously,
but by that
that's a
logic-
big part of it. That's maybe the number one thing that I'm going to look at.
Up to
Yeah, but
what
by
age
that
does-
logic, all
what
women who
age
want to
does
work are no longer good mothers by that logic.
Sorry?
All women that want to work by that same logic are no longer good mothers or no longer good optimal spouse for you.
but
We're not saying that. What
it's not how we're saying that. And if she wants to maybe afterwards, who knows? Best when you have kids, your wife's working, for example, where are you leaving your children? Babysitters. Who's raising your kids? What's the
No,
point
as
of
in
choosing a wife?
you guys unite and you guys figure out a way to
That
implement that.
doesn't work.
So
So,
what about the years we don't have kids then? Is she allowed to work?
But then she's not a stay-at-home mum.
I have to agree.
This-
So what's the statement?
The statement is women should be stay-at-home
So
mums.
assuming
Did
she
they
has
say
kids.
stay at home
so
or
have
did they
kids.
say she stay at home and
But
not
the
work?
thing is,
I
because
can't-
the
how
question
many
wasn't
years
homemaker.
did they
How
say
many
stay at
years
home
are those
mums?
kids at home before they start going to school?
I don't
So we'll say for 5 years.
But wait,
Yeah,
hold
they start school at 5.
Can we get
The
a
statement-
hide on the statement?
Mention the word mum.
Did they say stay at home mum?
can you
or
repeat
stay
the
at
statement?
home
She
and
should
then not work?
Okay,
wait.
the statement, guys, is women should be stay-at-home mums.
So that's based on the premise that they're
so
mothers.
there's kids
The
as
thing
well.
is, let's take it from kids. At what age do they start their school? We'll say around 5, 6 years old, yeah?
5 is reception,
So
yeah.
that means the main area of raising the
nursery,
children will be from when they're born to about 5 years old. After that, they're in school. And as you mentioned, majority of their upbringing comes from the societal norms and the values that they're taught there. So what in that time period of 0 to 5, for example, there is a heavy emphasis on the upbringing of the children, but at the same time, can she not work?
No, she can't work. She has to stay at home. This is the point that we're making, right? All right. She has to stay at home because the whole point of choosing a wife is someone that's going to raise your children. You don't want other people raising your kids. What's the point of choosing this wife?
what I'm trying to
I
say
choose you because you have this perfect values. Your family have raised you in the right way. You're going to treat them with the Islamic, all of this, and then you're going to go work.
What I'm trying to
But
say is,
women
what's
work
the
still
point?
has those same
So what's the
perfect
point?
upbringing and
What's the-
perfect values.
No, but what's the point of a marriage? Go putting a man and a woman together with different attributes. You created the woman to be nurturing, you created the man to be providing. For us to then change that.
Yeah, but did he make it
Why
haram
don't-
for her to work?
Why don't
we're not saying okay?
I'm
We're not saying she cannot work. What we're saying is the importance of being a stay-at-home mother and looking after the children. While the man's providing, the woman should be nurturing. She should be looking after the child. You were mentioning if they're in school from, for example, 9 to 5. After 5 p.m., the kids are home. The mother should be there to nurture the kids because the moment they walk there again, you are very sustainable. Not sustainable. What's the word? Susceptible. Thank you. You are very susceptible to the things around you as a child. Even up until the age of 18, you could be convinced by the people around you of A, B, C, and D, which can go against either the values of Islam or even the values of your household. When you marry someone, you marry your partner. Your partner she's your wife, she's your partner, she becomes your life companion. And that person shares the same values as you, otherwise you wouldn't be with them. They share the same ethos, share everything. You share everything together. Okay. You share the same roof, you share everything. So,
let me just ask you a quick question then. Would you say, okay, kids, they're very inquisitive. We all know that children are very inquisitive. When they come home, the first thing they do, when they have a question about something, they ask their parents. Why? Because they see their parents as the role models. Everything that they say is true. They have the experience, they have the knowledge. So, for example, when a child goes to school or they learn something, the first thing if they don't understand about it, they ask their parents, what is this, what is that? It's then the parents' role to inform. So, when they, for example, in between 0 to 5, if they're in a nursery and they learn certain things, aren't they going to go home to their parents and either they're going to say something related to that topic or they're going to ask their parents a question? Can't they also educate them?
A woman's career is largely irrelevant, right? A woman's career. If I'm looking, for example,
You think so?
no, but hold on. No, but if I'm looking, for example,
So you're having
right?
to go out all
No,
my
hold
Arabic
on.
school teachers.
No, but hold on. Hold on. When I look at this, right?
That's a good point.
If I want to look, for example, towards my grandmother, right? I love my grandmother. When I look at the family that she's built, right? Her children, her grandchildren, I look at her, I don't think, what career, what job did she have? I don't care about what career. I care about the family
was
she's
a
built
mother.
and the values she's instilled in the family. Correct or not?
No one's
Because
disagreeing.
she stayed at home and looked after her children, she made sure she had a great family. I don't care about having a grandmother that I'm going to look at her with 2 kids because God knows I turned out she wasn't home with them, blah, blah, and then I'm looking at her, oh yeah, she had an amazing career. I don't care.
But I know
The mother's meant to be
I know
loving.
many stay-home parents who the children grow up and they're the worst of people.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean just because
Yeah,
she's a
but you want your
stay-home
children
mum.
brought up with love. You want to do what you can.
Yeah.
to bring your children up with
Yeah.
love. When the children get home,
So
you
you're
want the
saying
mother
the
to
thing
be
is
there.
that who has
You want
more
them to be
influence?
there. You want the food to be ready. That's the family.
You want the food to be ready.
Yeah, I say like for the children, the children gonna come home. Who's gonna give them their food?
Listen,
who
but the
said-
thing
but
is,
who-
who has
but
more
who- but who
influence?
said
on
that's
the-
not
I'm not saying for me, my wife has to.
No, but who said the food's not getting ready if she's working?
Nah, but that's different.
The
That's-
thing is,
Doesn't that education system, doesn't that provide the good platform for both the husband and the wife to work?
I don't
The
think
kids-
a man should cook, sorry.
No, as in the kid's gonna be at school, for example, from 9 to what, 3 till 4. If the mum comes home starts her shift at 9 and she comes home at 12. Now from 12 to 3, she's doing the whatever she needs to do at home, and the food's gonna be still ready on the table, and she's
So you
worked the
expect,
shift,
so you
and the
expect
children
your
are gonna
wife
get
to
all the
work and be a
nurture.
mom? You put too much pressure.
Khataya, bro.
What do you mean? It's her choice. If she wants to, yes,
If she wants to work,
let her do it.
If she's going to work and she's choosing to work and you don't have a problem with it as a husband. Because ultimately, we spoke about rice in different segments of this episode, but you're telling her that she can go to work, so I think you should burden some shoulder. And you should accept the fact that if you're going to eat your meal half an hour later, for example.
No,
if that's the angle you want to take.
Bro, the children, forget me, the children are gonna come home, they want their mom to be home, they want the hugs,
Who
they
said
want the
the
love.
mom's not gonna be home though?
All right, guys.
just stay at home.
Okay, I'm so sorry.
You
but
can
we
make
need to
them khubz al-abbas.
خبز العباس.
She waits for Baba to come home.
We'll end with that. We'll end with that. Well done, guys. That was brilliant.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala within the Holy Quran says, Inna akramakum indallahi atqakum. The most honorable amongst you is the one who is most pious. In the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, men and women are equal, black and white. Everyone in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is equal. We all are creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And He loves us all equally. The one who is closer to Him is the one who is most pious. So we cannot say Allah prefers men over women or vice versa, or He gives more responsibility toward men and women. No, everyone has their own responsibility and their own rights. We have to be very, very careful. We have to, first of all, define the words that we're talking about, such as feminism in this episode. Well, feminism in Islam has a meaning, and in the West, it has its own meaning. Well, in the West is equality between men and women. Everything that men does, women should do it. Everything that man gets paid for, women should get paid for it. And everything equal, equal, equal. Within the religion of Islam, no. Everybody, they have their own rights and responsibility. We can see that within the teachings of Ahl Bayt alayhim salam. A famous hadith, one day the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi was sitting, and Lady Fatima al-Zahra salamullah alayha and the commander of the faithful, Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam, they walked into him. She asked, "Oh Father, let me know about my responsibility and his responsibility, I as a wife and he as a husband." Well, he has given us the rule of thumb, and he has given us the rule that we should follow. He said anything from the door inside is your responsibility, and anything from the door outside is his responsibility. We both, wife and husband, we both complete one another, serve one another to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is the mission. Islam recommends for the woman to be in charge of the upbringing of the children, looking after the affair of the house, looking after the affair of the husband, getting herself ready for her husband, for her king, because she is the queen of the house. But unfortunately, we see within the Western feminism, they take women out of the house and put it in the workforce, and the whole house, which the foundation of this house is the mother, is the woman, is being taken out. The whole house becomes very shaky and is not stable anymore. Should they go to university? Talabul ilm, as Rasulullah Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi, gaining knowledge is mandatory on every Muslim man and woman. We should not be illiterate and ignorant people. We should gain knowledge, no doubt. But do I have to go to university to learn? No. By reading books, by online classes, by so many other means, I can get education. So there is nothing you have to, or you cannot, or you don't have to. No. Islam hasn't given us halal and haram. So they said, okay, if you go to outside, men and women, well, there are halal and haram relationship that you have to keep in mind. When you go out as a man, you have to make sure you lower your gaze. When you have a relationship, when you have a talk with the opposite gender, you have to make sure you keep these red lines in mind. Same thing for the sisters. When you go out, well, you have proper hijab. When you talk with the opposite gender, well, you have to make sure the laughter in the middle and so on, so many other things that you have to keep in mind. So we cannot say yes or no. Case by case differs. Person to person differs, community by community differs, but what Islam likes as ideal family, which is possible. Nobody can say, well, the teachings of Islam was good back in the day of Rasulullah or back in the day of our parents and forefathers. Right now, no, the teachings of Islam, teachings of the Holy Quran, teachings of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wa and Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam is alive yesterday, today, until the day of judgment. Nothing changes. So the ideal lifestyle for the sisters, for the women, to be at home, looking after the affair of their husbands, looking after the nurturing and upbringing of their children, to make sure that their children are the next religious people who will serve the community. Well, some cases she has to go outside. Well, it's okay, it's not haram. So we have to be very careful. Not become so sensitive and not become emotional. No, Islam says this is the ideal life I want for you, and everything is for your own benefit. If you take it, you will have a happy and successful life. If not, don't come at the end of the day and tell me, give me a dua. Well, I told you prevention is better than cure. Keeping that in mind. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وآله الطاهرين.